time to judge some books by their covers. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be a bit of a booktube classic, and it is UK versus US book covers. So, I live in the UK. Every cover that I'm going to talk about today, I own the UK version or a UK special edition of. And yes, I have some opinions on whether or not I prefer the UK covers or whether I wish I was able to get my hands on the US one. Sometimes I will track down the US one if I need to. But yeah, I thought I would do this with 2021 releases as we're coming up to the end of the year. What I did to sort of get the books to choose for this is I just went through every book that I have acquired or read this year that is a 2021 release and looked at whether or not I preferred the UK cover or the US cover. There's not much else to it. I'm just gonna give you some opinions on bookish design. We'll get to know what I like in book designs, I suppose, in doing this video. So I have my laptop at the side of me so I can see the US covers, but I will insert them on the screen so that you guys can see them as well. So for the first ones I'm going to talk about, actually we kind of need to talk about an older release as well, because it is the Extraordinaries series by TJ Klune. So for the UK cover, for the first one we have the Extraordinaries, and I will insert the US cover here. I actually really prefer the UK one for the first book. I don't know why, there's something about the illustration on the US one that I just don't particularly love. For the first book, keep that in mind because I'm going to get to the second one in a minute. I like the colours of the UK one a little bit more as well. I think the pinks and the blues work a little bit better than the sort of like orangey colours that we've got going on over here. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I've read this book now and I mean, I think they both kind of work well for the actual book, although this one has more of the actual superheroes on it, so it does tell you a little bit more about the story. But the 2021 release for this would be the sequel, which is Flashfire. So this is a UK cover, and this is the American cover. And for this one, I actually prefer the US cover. I actually really like the illustration on this one, and I prefer the colours on this one. The colours are actually more similar between them, but I really, really love the US one, and it's really irritating because to have a matching set, I either have to have the first one that I like less or I have to have the second one that I like less. And I mean, obviously it's easier for me just to acquire the UK covers, so that's what I've done. But it is annoying when you sort of like one from one and one from the other, because how do you go about that? I mean, the option obviously is just to have two sets of the series, but I don't know if I love it quite that much. The next one here is a very sort of subtle cover change, but there is a change nonetheless, and that is Defy the Night by Brigid Kemmerer. I haven't read this one yet, so I don't really know how well this sort of describes the series. I will say, I find this is the UK cover. I find this to be a little bit boring. This is the US cover. So the US cover obviously has the castle on there as well, and I just think the addition of that just makes it look a little bit more interesting. Like, this is literally just the sort of flowers in the background and the writing, and while I like the colour and I like the sort of holographic font, I like that it does kind of tie together to her other series, the Curse So Dark and Lonely, whatever, Cursebreaker series, is that what it's called? I just think I prefer the US one just for having that little bit more detail on it, so yeah. So for the next one, I actually don't own the US or the UK cover, so I will put the UK cover up here and the US cover up here. It is The Devil Makes Free by Tori Bobbellino. I don't like either of these covers particularly. I really dislike the UK one. That devil on the front, I don't like how it looks. I just think it looks a bit, I don't know, there's just something about it I don't like. I prefer the US one with sort of the blurred face and things like that, but still not my favourite. What I actually like is the one that I own, and that is this one, which is the UK Illumicrate cover. So this one is completely redesigned. It's got that sort of like, you can see it more on the back, it's almost like glittery that's running through it. You can see it catching the light. It's almost like, looks like an oil slick kind of. And yeah, I really like this. I like the book design on the front. I just think it gives it more of sort of the vibe that I wanted to get from this book. I haven't read it yet, but it was in the Dark Academia box, and I feel like this has more of that vibe, as does actually the US cover, but the UK one really did not have that going for it. And now we have another one in a series, and also another one where I don't actually own either of these because I have a special edition copy, and that is the Waybearer and Redemptor series. I believe it's a duology by Jordan F. Waker. So I will put UK cover here, US cover here. I don't like the US covers, I'm just going to say that now. I don't know, it reminds me of like these sort of like holographic colours and things remind me of like bad like children's books from when I was a kid. I don't know why. There's just something about the way that the colours are done on there that I just don't like. The UK covers are beautiful. I do really enjoy those. I really like the sort of the faces that are hidden in them as well, because it took me a while to even notice they were there. I really love those. I do wish that my special edition set was more just like a hardback of those. I kind of wish I had the Fairy Loot versions, whereas I have the Illumicrate ones. But that being said, I do enjoy the Illumicrate ones I have. They are more sort of like tribal designs, and I love the ombre edges on them. I just like how sort of sleek they look on my shelves as well. They're quite simplistic, and I do like this. And it has the undercover as well. But either way, basically I prefer both of the UK designs over the US ones. I just don't like the US ones. So this one not only had a different cover in the US and the UK, but also had a different title, and that one is You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry, which in the US is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. So I actually really prefer the US cover for this. I love the colouring of this one. I just like the vibe it feels. They're both obviously very summery, they're both like poolside, things like that, but I just love the colours of this one. Scream sort of summer to me. I love it. But yeah, I have this one. I don't really care about the title change. I don't have a preference in it. I haven't read this book yet, so I don't know which one kind of goes with the book more, but they both had the same idea. I just really prefer the US one. And then we have got Vampires Never Get Old, which is a short story collection by multiple different authors. It's all vampire stories. This is the UK cover, this is the US one. Again, I really dislike that US cover. Why is it pink? I don't think pink really fits with vampires, for one thing. I don't like that skull design. I like this. It's a bit more classic. It's got a coffin, it's got a bat, it's like, it's vampires. What else could you want? That doesn't scream vampires to me. I don't like notice the fangs on the skull until I look closer at it, whereas this is very much vampire. I prefer this one. Next up we have one where I actually love both covers, and that is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. So this is the UK edition. I will put the American edition here. The UK cover very much fits, actually both of them, they very much fit the style of The Hate U Give and Angie Thomas's other book, On the Come Up, and how they have been promoted in both individual countries. I love the UK cover. I like the way they do sort of like the real pictures on the front of these ones. I just think they look really good together, but when you put it next to The Hate U Give, it makes a really good set. I do though really love the illustration on the US cover. I think they both work. I think they both really work for the story. I don't have a favourite. Next up we have a sci-fi book that I read earlier this year. It was in an Illumicrate box, and that is Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. So UK cover, well this is a Fairy Loot cover, but I believe it is basically the UK cover. There might be like a colour change on it, and then this is the US cover. I again really prefer the UK cover. I like that it's a little bit, it kind of like looks like Night and Day, and I do actually prefer the darker version of the UK one. And obviously they've got similar vibes on there, but I actually prefer it just being sort of like a skyline with the title up here rather than the faces of the two people. I don't know why that kind of distracts me from it. I just prefer the overall sort of vibe of this one than I do of the US one. I'm not really giving the best reasons of why I like things more, but I do think it is something to do with like, yeah, how the title is sort of front and centre on this one, whereas on the other one it's kind of like, it's not as full on. I think this works better. So my opinion on this next one has actually changed since reading the book, and that is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So if you had asked me before this came out, this is the UK cover, this is the US cover, I would have said that I much prefer the UK cover. I really like the colours on it. I think it's very eye-catching. I found that the US one was just a little bit bland, a little bit boring. It's mainly blue, just with these people on the water, and this one just, yeah, I just liked the vibe of it a little bit more. That being said, after having read it and knowing how much of a character-based story this is and how important the family is in this, I actually really like this one with them all sort of sat on the surfboards. It feels very much of the story. It fits a lot better with the book itself. So yeah, opinion definitely changed on this one. Next up we have a middle grade that I read earlier this year. I don't read a lot of middle grade, but I did read Amori and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is the UK cover, this is the US cover. Obviously very similar vibes. It just kind of depends on what style of illustration you like more, and I prefer the UK one. I don't know why, there's something about the, like, it's a bit too glossy, the American one, if that makes sense. I just prefer the sort of drawing style of this one. I'll hold it closer because you can't really see it. There we go. I just prefer the drawing style of this one, definitely. So yes, I'm glad that I have these ones, and the covers are out for the sequel, and it's a similar thing where they are very similar vibes but just the different illustration styles. And again, I prefer the UK one. It is literally just down to the illustration style. We then have Ace of Spades by Farida Abakir-Imade. So this one we have UK cover, US cover. Again, similar ideas with the two main characters on there and the spade sign, but I much prefer the US one where it is actually like a deck of cards style. But I just think it's more striking. I really like the colours of it. I think you get sort of the prep school vibe of it more as well, and I just think it really works for the story. I read this one early in the year and I did really enjoy this book, and yeah, I like both covers, but I just think the American one does win out on this one. Okay, next one is a book that I actually didn't enjoy the book as much as I enjoyed the cover, and that is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. So this is the UK cover. This is a FairyLoot exclusive, but it's very, very similar to the UK cover. The colours are just slightly different. But then we have the US cover, which I really don't like. I think it's strange though, because I think the US cover actually works better in a way for the story. It kind of gives you more of that, this is a historical fiction book, which I think a lot of people expect more fantasy from this, and when you read it, it isn't. There is very light fantasy in there, but it is very much a historical fiction book. The US cover definitely screams that more to me. But I just really, really adore this cover. It does help that I had the Illumicrate copy with the like beautiful sprayed edges. But I just think this is stunning anyway. When I see the regular copy in bookstores, I still love it. Definitely UK cover wins for this one. And then we have two more, which are two of my favourite books that I've read this year. So I thought I'd leave these ones to last. The first one being Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I may have a controversial opinion here. This is the UK cover. This is the US cover. Now, two things to say. I do not like this general standard US cover, which I know a lot of people actually don't like the UK cover. I really like the UK cover. I like sort of it feels like an old fairy tale book, which I like, I enjoy it. I don't know if it necessarily works the best for the book itself. I probably would have gone with something different, like completely different from either of these. But I just find the American cover to be really bland, and I don't like how it looks. I don't know why. That being said, this is the Barnes & Noble American cover where it's in pink, and suddenly I like it a lot more when it's in pink. I don't know why, it just works better. The design works better. I still prefer the UK cover, but the design for the US Barnes & Noble edition is better than the standard US edition in my opinion. Then we have the FairyLoot special edition, which is the UK cover in pink. And I absolutely hate this cover. I really don't like it. I like the customizations that they've done, like when you take the dust jacket off. I love the undercover dust jacket art. I don't actually own this one. I wasn't subscribed to FairyLoot in time for this box, but I like all the like undercover art that they've done, like the secret cover. I like the edges when you see them just with the like naked hardback. I hate it with the dust jacket. I just do not like it. I'm just going to stick with my standard UK cover. It also does have the beautiful undercover thing as well. Not my favourite one to get, the arrow, but they are all stunning, so does it really matter? And then last but not least, we have got another one where I kind of changed my mind, but not completely, after I actually read the book. So that would be one of my favourite books I've read this year. You'll all know what I'm going to hold up. It is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I love the UK cover so much. This is the standard UK cover. This is just the Waterstones special edition, but there's nothing different about the cover. It's just got the sprayed edges. It looks like a family crest almost. It's got all the different creatures around. It's got the symbols on there as well. I just really like this. I find it very interesting, very intricate. This is the US edition. Now, when I first saw this, I hated it. I just thought it looked really cheesy and really tacky. Having now read the book, I think it really works. I think it really works for the story. I think it gives you the right sort of atmosphere for the story. I like the sort of creature coming out, the blood in it. I just think it really does work, having read the book. I still prefer the UK cover. And actually, what I really prefer is the Illumicrate cover. I think I love it in the white and gold, and we all know my feeling on sprayed edges. I know I'm not doing... like, this shouldn't be coming into play in this really, because I should just be looking at the cover. But yeah, I really love the Illumicrate cover. I like that sort of, it looks more like a sort of holy book, which a lot of this book is about religion. So I think this works really well for it. And to be honest, I like the sort of contrast of having both of those. So that is all my thoughts and opinions on US versus UK book covers for 2021 releases. Actually, I'm just going to count up how many I preferred from each sort of country and see which one, where did my thoughts lie? I feel like I land more in the UK camp, which is probably a good thing. So I like 7 UK covers, 6 US covers, and then one where I just like the Illumicrate version and don't really like either of them. So I'm kind of neck and neck, to be honest, which... I mean, it'd be good if I did just prefer the UK ones, because obviously that's what's easier for me to get, but we know I'm a bit of a book collector, so if I need to seek out US ones, I will. I've definitely done that before for like special editions of things when it's a favourite book. If I really like the US cover, I will seek it out. Basically, we know that I am a sucker for pretty books, so I will go out of my way to find the pretty book if I need to. Right, that is everything for today. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Let me know, what is it that you like about book covers? Is there something that will really put you off of it? Will you seek out a particular version of a book just to have the pretty cover? Or do you just sort of go with whatever's in your local bookstore? Right, thank you guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!